I want to have a quick conversation about the corporate lawyers, and I want to give you the law of success for a corporate lawyer. So, if you are a corporate lawyer or you're trying to become a corporate lawyer, it's important to have a, a quick idea about what it takes to actually be successful in this very competitive field. Okay, so let me first talk to you about the art of relationships. So that's the first law of success I want you to think about. So if you want to be a good corporate lawyer, if you want to be a successful corporate lawyer, you got to have relationships, and I mean the real relationships. I'm not asking you to actually reach out to people randomly on social media or let's say at events. No, you got to have a strategy. You got to think about what types of relationships you want to really cultivate. Okay, of course, one thing for sure, you can try some social media, such as LinkedIn. I mean, we are speaking about corporate lawyers, so we're speaking about B2B lawyers. So you do not want to go on Facebook or Instagram to actually reach out to businesses, right? You want to really go on LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn, I don't care. You want to be on LinkedIn, especially if your goal is to actually reach out to the mid-sized businesses or the big corporates. Okay, now if you're going for a small business audience, maybe you might really think about Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest. But if your goal is to go for something bigger, LinkedIn is your number one social media, and I mean big time. Okay, and the cool thing about LinkedIn is that you can actually establish yourself as a corporate lawyer on the platform. You can reach out, you can really get some connections, and you can really try to get connections with the people that you are trying to really help. Okay, in terms of corporate law, bottom line is you have to be where people are. Okay, you have to be where they're at, whether physically or digitally. So physically, I mean, if they have let's say some kind of conferences, some kind of industry events, or some kind of forums where you believe your expertise will be needed or your expertise can be sought, go to those. You want to attend those events, okay? But digitally, you want to be on the social media platforms that really matter. LinkedIn is the first one, and after that, you can try others. I mean, you can try others in terms of because you have those generic, general, standard social media, but you also have those particular social media that are particular to your niche. Sometimes you can have a circle. You can even join a group. So it can be a Facebook group. It can be a Facebook community. At least there, you sure that you are talking to the right people, right? So the first law of success for corporate lawyers, business lawyers, is actually the art of relationships. So if you are actually try LinkedIn, if you are where people are, you also need to pay attention to an in-house counsel. See, the thing is that as a corporate lawyer, you have to really cultivate ties with your peers, okay? And your peers here are really in-house counsel. In-house counsel can really help you big time because many large corporations have internal attorneys that run the day-to-day business of the legal department, right? And but see that legal department is there to take care of business, but there are certain things that they do not want to handle or they don't have the expertise or let's just say the resources internally to actually handle. So they will outsource those cases, those matters to external counsel, and this is where you can really help. Okay, this is where you can really help. So the in-house attorneys frequently have a voice in choosing the outside counsel for the matter. And so if you have a good relationship with that in-house counsel, when it comes time to actually choosing the external counsel to actually help with the matter, they will reach out to you. They will contact you, or at least they will vote for you, right? And that's what you want. So to be a successful corporate lawyer, make sure you connect with in-house counsel. You also want to leverage referrals. So this is a very important law of success for corporate lawyers, referrals, because you want your cost of client acquisition to actually be as low as possible, right? You want your this is called CAC, client acquisition cost. Okay, you want that to be as low as possible because this is how you are going to really. I mean, you even want it to be zero. And if you have referrals, referrals are not costing you anything. Referrals are not costing you or a penny. Okay, in other words, existing clients or prospective clients are referring folks to you, or even they don't even have to be clients. Those people referring folks to you, they don't have to be clients. They can be your connections. They can be your LinkedIn contacts. They can be a part. They can be part of other referral groups that you are part of. Okay, so this is important to understand that it's all about quality of work, because once you have a few corporate clients added to your book of business, the referral can become an even more powerful than usual, because if you do a good job, people will refer you naturally. Another law of success for corporate lawyers, it has to be around the maintenance of relationships. See, the thing is, cultivating relationships takes work, right? But once you have the relationship, you have to maintain it. You have to manage it. You have to handle it properly. You have to cultivate it. You have to really you have to be there all the time. So because those relationships are not going to maintain themselves automatically. No, they're not on autopilot. See, you are talking about human relationships. You're talking to individuals. People have different needs. People have different realities, and you can have a relationship today, but that person's situation might change actually 5 years from now, or 5 months from now, or 5 weeks from now. If that person's situation changes, his or her needs have changed too, right? Right away. So if you're not really adapting to the personal situation, then all the efforts that you put in to actually win that connection in the first place is that's just is for nuts. Okay, it's a zero. So it's important to really maintain that relationship by actually making sure that you are relevant. For instance, you can send out like birthday cards. You can you can wish your clients. You can wish your relationships. Let's say holiday festivities, holiday celebrations, all that kind of stuff. Those are little things that you have to do to make sure people remember you. Okay, and you also want to remember that it's also about doing it consistently. Don't just do it once in a while. Okay, it's not about doing it once in a while. No, you have to do it consistently. If you're doing it once a year, that's fine. If you're doing once a quarter, that's fine. And it doesn't have to be anything big. You don't have to really you don't have to have lunch with the clients. You don't have to actually buy them big gifts. As a matter of fact, a lot of companies have a limit on how much you can offer. An employee, like in terms of gifts, maybe I think it's $100. So you can't really buy you can't be really buy gifts that are above $100. So you have to really think about how to handle that relationship, how to manage relationships in a very professional way without actually violating any ethical laws. Another law of success for corporate lawyers has to revolve around knowledge sharing. So besides the art of relationships, you want to really share your knowledge. And when I say share your knowledge, I'm talking about different facets, different avenues, different ways of sharing knowledge. Okay, I'm speaking specifically about content creation and content distribution. So when I say content creation, I'm speaking about all kinds of content. It can be videos, it can be written content, it can be audio. Okay, so audio, you're speaking about podcast. Video, you can talk about YouTube videos. Okay, you can do blogging, you can do white papers, you can do infographics. The bottom line here is that you want to be as varied as possible. You want to be as diverse as possible. So when it comes to content creation, obviously, depending on the niche you're in, or depending on the target audience, depending on the type of corporate customers that you're actually targeting, certain types of content will be a lot more suitable, right? I mean, if you are in an industry, for instance, where your clients they only care about white papers, you're not going to write blog articles. At least you could write some blog articles, but you want to put your efforts on creating white papers, right? It's all about creating what the client is expecting from you and what really adds value to the client's operations. See, the thing is, we are speaking about businesses. We're speaking about companies that have a bottom line requirement. They have to take care of profit and loss. They have to take care of their profits, not loss. Their profits. They have to really manage their cash inflows and cash outflows. So you want to really produce content that goes into that direction. You want to produce content that aligns with those needs that the company has. Otherwise, nobody's going to pay attention to whatever you're offering, okay, in terms of content. So, white papers. Maybe you are in an industry where your clients are more interested in podcasts. If you're interested in podcasts, then you want to do more audios, right? You want to have guests who are quality level, okay? That's an important law of success for corporate lawyers. And you want those guests that are coming to your podcast to actually have the expertise that the client is looking for. That way, you are adding value to the client's operations. So when I speak about the law of success of corporate lawyers, specifically when I say share your knowledge, content creation, and distribution actually can be several ways. Now, distribution, when you think about distribution, you have to think about the target audience. So, target audience, you have to think about geography, and you have to think about timing. So, those are three things: geography, target audience, and timing. When I say geography, I'm speaking here about the location, the physical location. Maybe your corporate clients, your corporate, your the businesses that you are going after, they are global, right? They are global. They are global physically, but they're also global operationally, or they're just in the states. So if you say, I'm going after just American companies, then your content should be suitable for those American companies. Okay, so that's really good. So for geography, you also have the demographics. In other words, the people who are working at those companies, that you want to go after. What kind of professions? What kind of niche they're in? Okay, what are their expectations? And I also talk about timing. Obviously, if you produce content, a certain type of content around the holiday season, you might have a water reception as opposed to creating another type of content in, say, April or May or whatever. So, right. So, for instance, if you're going after small businesses and you want to sell your tax law firm work to them, you want to produce content around April, or you want to produce content around January, either at the start of the tax season, or around April, or even in October, November for those businesses that have filed for extensions, right? So it's all about making sure that your content ties to the calendar that the company is actually following internally. That way, you can be sure that you are getting as wide a reception as possible. So let me also talk to you about the reach. So the thing is, when you have content, one important law of success has to be around reaching a wider audience. What I'm trying to say here is that when you have content and you distribute it to your regional audience, let's say you have a group of businesses that you want to reach out to, right? And you distribute it to their inboxes. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But then you can really turn around and use the same content and see how you can reach a wider audience with it. Okay. For example, if you produce content for small businesses around how to file Form 1120S, I'm speaking about taxation. Form 1120S. That's the annual tax return for S corporations. Then you can turn around and just have a wider distribution. In other words, you can produce an article. Let's say the original piece of content was a podcast. You can transcribe that podcast, convert it into a blog article, and publish that article on your blog, so that people who are not even like small business owners who are not even S corporation owners right now, who don't have S corporation, maybe they have an LLC. They're thinking about converting from LLC to S corporation. They might read your article, okay, and actually find it very valuable. So that's the type of reaching a wider audience that I'm speaking about. And also, if you do a blog article, or you have a podcast, or you have an infographic, make sure that you are paying attention to SEO, because SEO is going to help you actually rank in Google. And if your goal is to reach a wider audience, you want to actually please Google's algorithms. So the more you place those algorithms, the more you produce content that is actually catchy, the more you're increasing your chances of actually ranking in Google SERPs. Okay, and that's what you want. You want to rank in Google SERPs so that your law firm can gain visibility, your practice can gain visibility, and more people can be interested in the type of services and the type of in the type of offers that you actually have. So another law of success for a couple lawyers has to be around your digital presence. So you have to strengthen your digital presence. What I'm saying here is that if you want to be a successful corporate lawyer, so if your goal is to actually reach out to those B2B companies and B2B processes and be successful, you got to have a strong digital presence. I mean, I spoke about the art of relationships. I spoke about how to share and how you share your knowledge through content distribution and content creation. But without a strong digital presence, your efforts are going to be limited. This is because businesses are another type of, I would say, client. I mean, businesses, the target audience that you're going after, they will check you out. They will check you out. Okay. And can you imagine, like, if you had no digital presence, can you imagine during COVID, you would have been toast. You would have been out. You would have been out of business. Okay, because if you only prioritize face-to-face meetings with clients and you had no digital presence and something like that happened, I mean, COVID is over. I get that, but my point is what? My point is that if something were to happen like that again, maybe not the same thing, but something similar, having a digital presence can really help you big time. Like, just not just having a digital presence through a website, for instance. You can build a strong website, an SEO optimized website. That's pretty good. You can pay someone 1,000, 2,000, or even 5,000 to create a website for you, right? That's fine. But once you have a strong website, you have to make sure that that website is interactive. In other words, you can do a lot of stuff with that website. Maybe you can have Zoom calls. You can actually set up appointments through Calendly. You can actually do a few things here and there, right? The website has to be interactive, and the website has to be a tool to actually boost your corporate law practice. Okay, so when I say having a website, you can actually also reach out to I would say specialty platforms, niche platforms. There are some platforms right now that allow you to create a law firm website from scratch within minutes. There are templates based on the niche, and you just need to choose a template in your niche, and voila, you can have a website within minutes. Okay, so that's something to really think about. And you also need to prioritize your digital reputation. So simply having a website doesn't mean you just leave it there. Your website is part of your digital reputation, right? But besides your website, you also have your social media account. So if you have a Facebook account, Facebook page, if you have a Facebook group or a group around the topic a topic that you have as of interest, make sure that you prioritize your digital reputation. If somebody's saying bad things about your business, if you have a bad review about your business, make sure that you react fast. It's not about just striking. It's not about just trying to set the record straight. No, it's about handling the negative criticism, the positive criticism, whatever happens around your brand. Okay, so you got to really collect as much brand intel as possible. Whatever happens around your brand online, you have to be aware of that and manage that responsibly and promptly. So, in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about the law of success for corporate lawyers. I spoke about the art of relationships. I spoke about knowledge sharing, and I spoke about digital presence strengthening. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.